Today we're talking about another radio. A gentleman named Bob contacted me about his RCI-2950. He purchased it in 1999 and he wanted to do a recap and get it up to snuff there. So Bob, we do have your package here and we're going to open it up on camera. Just a little dent right there as far as I can see. A couple dings and dents here. But, yep, it is still sealed the exact way you sent it out. But, Bob, we're going to go ahead and open up your RCI-2950. However, when I was looking over the backside further, you can see this little power adapter is in very, very terrible shape because most of the pins are actually physically put in to the adapter. So you can see the center pin is out, but when you get really close there, you can see those power pins just making enough contact, so that is not good. Now we do have Bob's power jack repaired. Yeah, the pins just were loose, so we have that taken care of as well. That fin has been taken care of as well. Now, thing of note, which is good to know, that as you can see down here, we're not seeing any type of battery situation in that side or on this side. Of course, you can tell it's totally different with the board set up here for the jumpers. So you actually do have what is considered the Gen 2, which doesn't have a battery in it. So that's good. You don't have to worry about memory corruption. And we're going to go ahead and do a full recap. Do see one right over here bulging up. There's a lot of 10-volt caps in here and a lot of other ones that are kind of underrated. And they're also from 1999, so this has been used quite a bit, and I think these are all 80, most of them at least are 85 centigrade capacitors, so we're going to change them with higher voltage values, and we're going to make sure they all are 105 centigrade caps. So we're going to go ahead and power this up real quick, verify, and we're going to get started on the recap. Quick power up test for our recap. There we are. We have 27025, so that should be the frequency Bob had when he had it on last. So yes, it is maintaining memory. We do have the beeper is installed on this here. Let's see here. We got lock. Nope, lock does that. Manual. There we go. Manual then brings us into our channels. Cool. So we'll just go ahead and hit manual again. We're just back to where it was on channel 20. We'll go ahead and use the bird here. We got 200 watt slugs. This one average, this one peak, and we're on AM. We'll do our RF power all the way down, just see what we got here. Dead key. Yeah, about a watt or so. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4. A little under 20 watt on swing, and we'll do RF power up. Yeah, about 4 or 5 so watts there, maybe a little 7. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Audio check 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. About 21, 22 watts on swing on the peak side. So let's go ahead and just do sideband real quick. We're in a dummy load, of course, and we'll just do sideband with the power down. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4. About 24, 25 watts, and put it all the way up. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have our mic all the way up as well. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have power up and we have confirmed functionality. And we're going to go ahead and do the recap. Now, the recap will not very rarely bring any more performance out. The recap is basically just a preventive maintenance. Since the electrolytics in those capacitors end up drying out, they end up either short and closed, which they are polarized caps, so those are going to be positive and negative leads, shorting either together or open and causing all kind of issues. So when they dry out, yes, they're fun to chase down. So the easiest thing to do is when the radio is still functioning, go ahead and replace all the capacitors, and then you won't have to worry about chasing down a weird or random issue in these radios. But yes, not a performance boost by any means, but yes, more of a preventative maintenance. So yes, I know a lot of guys say if you don't have issues, you don't have to upgrade the caps, but then I've had that as well and had a radio that I had to chase down, and of course it ended up being a capacitor. So easiest thing, especially in these older radios only, that change out those capacitors when they are getting up in the years, as this 2950 is from 99. So we're going to go ahead and take this apart. We're going to get this keypad whitened up a little bit and do the recap. Just wanted to note on Bob's radio, this is pretty much one of the most immaculate 2950s I have seen in quite some time. It is in very good shape. We have the limiter intact. None of the other transistors back here that usually get clipped are clipped. We have talkback diode still enabled. And even on the back side, there is nothing screwy going on with this radio. Very, very nice to work on. There's not even fingerprints up here on the tabs. There's usually somebody's fingerprints on there that doing some work on it. So we're going to keep it the same way and keep it fingerprint free. There's a couple caps I have to remove that shield from, and I'll make sure I use some gloves to do it. But wow, this is in great shape. I'm very glad to do a recap on this and keep it in this good of shape. Of course, I do have the front off of this as well, and I always cover up the glass LED display there because we're going to make sure that we keep that in good shape. It's actually LCD. I don't know why I said LED. LED is down here, of course. But yeah, all the buttons seem to be in great shape. Very, very clean. You don't even see dirt and dust and grime behind here or nothing like that. Just, you know, normal wear and tear, but otherwise, both sides of this radio in very clean condition, so I'm going to keep it that way. We're going to do the keypad whitening, and I've never really had kind of a control, so we're going to use this box, see how close and we can get this to be as white as this possibly. This is not as terrible as I've seen some of the buttons. Of course, we'll put the magic sauce to it and get it sitting out and let it do its magic. And yeah, it's all varying depending on the type of grime and dirt and things like that to get a complete white. We're trying to get it as close to this white as possible. So this is the before, and we'll show the after. And we are back with Bob's 2950 keypad. Been sitting in the sauce for a little bit here, and we got this nice and bright white, almost as close to this bright white box that I said I wanted to get it as close to. His wasn't as terrible as a lot that I have worked on, but yeah, depending on how dirty they get, it depends on how bright they are able to get clean. But yeah, Bob, you have a very nice keypad, and I don't mind doing that. Back with Bob's RCI-2950 in the process of taking out the old caps. I have one more to go up here, but otherwise, yes, we don't have any caps in here at the moment. And I always wondered, I can always feel the weight difference a little bit, maybe in my head. Let's just see how many the capacitors and how much it weighs. About 0.9 ounces. All right. Both of the 7808 voltage regulator transistors have fallen off the board. A cold solder. All I had to do is just basically move them there to regrease, and they have fallen off. Now you could go ahead and say maybe it happened and warmed up when I was doing some desoldering with that. Possible. but not all 3 legs. I've never seen that happen with the other ones I've recapped, but I'm glad we did do the regrease on this because, yeah, it definitely needs it and definitely needs to be soldered. So we'll go over the rest of these cold solder notorious radios. Seems to be about this age of the transition from the Gen 1 to Gen 2, and some have said that those have definite cold solder joints more than the other ones, but I think they've all had their fair share. We'll be back after getting this all regreased and recapped.